Hey, what's happening? Thanks for checking out my YouTube video. This is your boy Bogey right here. Look at him. He's doing so good. He's had such a good summer. He's getting all kinds of exercise. He's feeling really good. He gets groomed here in a couple days. It is September 11th, 2023. I ought to add. And it's been a good summer. I've done a lot of golfing, way more golfing. Here in the last month or two. Been having fun, been shooting pretty good. And riding my motorcycle quite a bit. So that's always a good time. And then of course, I want to talk about the Avett Brothers, my favorite band, who I've seen live 32 times. Just saw them for the 32nd time in Des Moines, Iowa at the Wells Fargo Arena in downtown Des Moines. It was a great show. I took my nephew Max to his very first Avett Brothers show. So a little bit about that. He had texted me, I'm wanting to say maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And he was wanting to know, because Avett Brothers are coming through Lincoln, Nebraska, on my birthday actually, on August 24th. And he was going to go to that one. And so I kind of advised him for his first show to catch just the Avett Brothers. So anyone that knows Avett Brothers, sometimes they open up for bands and they're doing that a little bit more. But what I really like, and I think that they shine, is when they perform just by themselves. And sometimes they do have openers, and that's always fun to explore some new music. But to get the full effect, I like an evening with just the Avett Brothers. So I said, hey, you're welcome to go with me. Oh, by the way, I have 4th row on the floor. And he was like, what? So of course, Max went with me. And so Max and I had a great time. Saw a bunch of old friends, hung out with a lot of cool people, like I always do at the Avett Brothers show. So show number 32 is in the books. That's the poster back behind. You're going to see Scott Avett with the little banjo. I really love that poster. I have maybe just like a gut feeling that there's going to be a series. So if you follow the Avett Brothers, sometimes they'll do these poster series, and they've done like some baseball theme ones with different band members. So I have a feeling that there's probably going to be a Seth Avett one similar to that, and a Bob and a Joe. That's typically what they do. I don't have any know-how, or it's just kind of me just guessing. So anyway, let me talk about show number 32. Gosh, do I have a favorite song that night? Of course I do. Left on Laura, Left on Lisa. If you've never heard that one, give it a listen. I've heard it several times live. And Bogey, come on, buddy. And it's just a really good tune. And for some reason, it like hit extra special that night. Avett Brothers, I think they had fun in Des Moines. Scott Avett at one point said it was a very unique crowd. And I think unique is good. I don't know. And then a little tidbit. If you know, you know. I was able to give Scott a little gift. So I'm not going to fully go into that, but if you know, you know, and I'm glad he got it. So anyway, show number 32, geez, how does that happen? I guess when you follow a band for, a decade and a half or whatever it's been, the shows rack up. People often ask me, like, why would you go see the same band over and over and over? And it's simple. No show is the same. I'm not knocking the big venue, artists, but if you catch them in one city and then you go 2 nights later to a different city, it's the same set list. It's the same songs. They're going to be in the same positions. It's almost like seeing like a traveling play, it's like a performance. And I get it. They're all performing, but some of those big artists, and like I said, I'm not knocking them. There's a lot of benefit in going to one of those big shows. There's usually a lot of stimulus. There's a lot of visual videos and pyrotechnics and whatnot, but the Avett Brothers, they just bring it every night. There's not a lot of extras on stage. It's just them playing. And so I've been very fortunate. I've seen them in 8 different states and 32 different times, and I'm not looking to stop. In fact, I'm knocking on the door of 800 live songs. There's a really good database out on the internet called the November Blue Database. I urge you to download that. You can put it on your iPhone. And it's kind of how I use to keep track of all the songs. all the covers that I've seen. So Avett Brothers like to cover a lot of different artists, a lot of people that they've admired throughout their life, and that's a lot of fun. So they did a few covers that night in Des Moines. They did a David Childers one called The Prettiest Thing. Fantastic song. They do a few, so I've seen them cover David, and David Childers is a really, really talented artist out of North Carolina, which is where the Avett Brothers are from. And I really like David. So, when was it? Was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year. I saw him in Sioux City, and they played a David Childers cover. It's called Don't Be Scared. Oh my goodness. So good, so good, so good. So, listen to David Childers, Don't Be Scared. Go out to YouTube, watch the Avett Brothers. In fact, that night that I saw them in Iowa, there's a good video out on YouTube. Don't Be Scared. And it's just really good. So, the Wells Fargo Arena, it's a very, very, well, it's Des Moines' largest arena, I should say. And the Avett Brothers, they probably had it 3/4 full. So, they did have some of the arena blacked out, like obviously the portions behind the stage, those are all kind of blacked out, so you couldn't sit there. But they brought a really good crowd, very energetic. Like you said, Scotty said it was a very unique crowd. Pete, their sound guy, who my nephew Max, we got to meet Pete before the show. And so anyone that knows Avett Brothers, Pete does the set list for each night. He doesn't design, I mean, obviously the band picks the songs, but he gets a set list, and then he does this really cool artwork. So it's kind of a cherished prize for fans to get that. So I was really thrilled that my nephew Max got a Pete set list. Yes! What a memorable first show for him. And like I said, I gave Scott Avett a gift. And it was one I wanted to give to him for a long time, so he got it. I didn't know how I was going to get it to him. For the good Lord, I somehow got it there. And met so many great people before and after the show, like I always do. There's just this connection with the Avett Brothers. I don't know. It's very unique. And that's kind of why I love them. But I also want to talk about this right here. This is the Avett Brothers Emotionalism. And it is, I'm trying to think when this thing was released. Maybe like 08 or something? Gosh, I should have did my homework on when this album was released. But it was the album that kind of put them on the map. And they signed on with Rick Rubin right after this album. So, Emotionalism is a very, very special album to me. And I just kind of want to talk about the songs on the record. So, of course, I think I've seen most of these live. I'm trying to think which ones I haven't. I may have seen all of these live, with the exception of maybe Pretty Girl from San Diego. I don't know if I've seen that one. Anyway, it starts off with Die, Die, Die. And that's one that my nephew Max wanted to hear. And he got it. It's just an upbeat, kind of cool, you know, the song about mortality and, you know, it's kind of obviously what the title says. But it's so good. Shame is the second song. And Shame is a beauty. In fact, when I went out to Red Rocks about 5 years ago, I got my 500th live song at that point. And number 500 for me was Shame. So that song kind of has some special meaning. I love Shame. Paranoia in B major. That is such a sweet song. There's like a little period towards like maybe 3/4 to the end of the song. It kind of gets a little, I don't know, gets a little wild. It's probably a pretty good way to say it. But it's it starts off really slow and just lovely, and then it progresses to this kind of, I don't know, like a rock out session. And then it slows down again. But Paranoia in B major is awesome. That's the third song on the record. And then The Weight of Lies, which is the fourth song. And I really like The Weight of Lies. So anyone that knows me knows that I hate lies. I don't like being lied to. And I'm probably going to call you out. So if I know you're lying to me, don't. Weight of Lies is a really good song. Side 2, Will You Return? That's a fun, upbeat, just happy kind of begs the question, will you return? And obviously, I always return. I keep going to more Avett Brothers shows. So it's so good. The Battle of Love and Hate, that's just Seth Avett. And I've seen that just a ton of times. And it's just typically him up on the stage with his guitar. And it is a lovely, lovely ballad. And it's kind of a tale of this sweet woman and kind of this guy that's not so sweet, not treating her so good. And she's trying to do whatever she can to hold it together, and he's going out and drinking and kind of being a clown. So people can probably relate to that. Ballad of Love and Hate. And then it finishes side 2 with Salina. I like Salina. It's full of metaphors. It talks about a lot of different cities. And Salina, Kansas, obviously, is one of those. Salina is really fun. It's got a good cello. What the heck's a cello? Cello solo. That's what I was trying to say. Cello solo, and I came out cholo. Hey, it happens. So, really good cello solo by Joe Kwan. Salina is beautiful. Side 3 starts out with Pretty Girl from Chile. And that is, so the Avett Brothers like to sing these songs, and they always start like Pretty Girl from. They need to do a Pretty Girl from Iowa, right? Right here, the great state of Iowa. Pretty Girl from Iowa. Avett Brothers, right? One. All My Mistakes. That's man, I don't know. I mean, like if you're in a relationship and things are going well, play All My Mistakes for your partner. Kind of just tells you that all these mistakes in your life, the reason why they happened is so that you can be in front of them and you get in share different joyful memories with them. And there's a reason. All my mistakes, they're not always bad. There's some good stuff that can come from them as long as you learn your lesson. If you don't learn your lesson, then you're just going to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And that's kind of silly and foolish. So, All My Mistakes is fantastic. I love it. Living of Love. That's kind of a crowd, like a fan favorite. They don't play it very often, but people seem to really love Living of Love. It's not that I don't love it. It's just I don't yearn for it quite like some of the other fans do. I Would Be Sad. Love that song. That starts off side 4, Pretty Girl from San Diego. Once again, the Pretty Girl theme comes out. Second to last song is Go to Sleep, one of my favorites to see the Avett Brothers play live. Go to Sleep is so good. Scott Avett really shines in that one. And I think I fell in love with that song, 2012. This is my 3rd show. I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and at the Pershing Auditorium. Pretty sure he played it that night. God, I must go back in the database to look. But I've seen him play Go to Sleep quite a bit. Every time they play that one, I love it. Scott Avett just does phenomenal. And it's such a cherished song for me. And then the last one is Hand Me Down Tune. Obviously, I'm the youngest of 4 boys. I have 3 older brothers. And anyone that has 3 older brothers, you probably had a hand-me-down. So one of my favorite cherished hand-me-downs is my little baseball glove. And I have it in my living room. It's got my name on it in marker right here on like the wrist part. So I remember a lot of hand-me-down shoes and jeans. But so out of my 3 older brothers, one is strictly left-handed. He does everything left-handed. The other 2 predominantly right-handed. So I'm the youngest. My mother just kind of said, well, he will be whatever he wants to be. So she just threw 2 gloves. I guess when I was little, I grabbed the left-handed one, and the rest is history. So I'm a lefty on the baseball field. I bat right-handed. I throw left. So that's kind of a different thing. And like on the golf course, I can putt left or I can putt right. I'm better when I do it right-handed, but I mean, I can do it left-handed. I can sink them left-handed. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird things. But one of my cherished hand-me-downs is that little baseball glove, and I always think of my oldest brother, Zach. He was the lefty in the family, and that's kind of you know, I was the second lefty. So my mom's got 2 boys that are lefties on the baseball diamond and 2 that are righties. And I had the hand-me-down. So hand-me-down tune is the last song on Emotionalism. I gave my nephew Max, so I've been collecting vinyl for, I don't know, 8 years, something like that. Absolutely love vinyl records. Obviously, I collect them. I like to buy different color variants of them. So I already had this one. In fact, it was one of the first vinyls I had ever bought was Avett Brothers Emotionalism. It was in the top 10 records that I bought. So I gave him that one because he didn't have it. And I had bought this one. So this is the record store Day RSD Essential. And this one is on sea glass blue vinyl. I have not opened it. So I'm going to pop the seal on this one and we're going to take a look to see what sea glass blue vinyl looks like. I have several that are in this kind of color and they kind of vary. Sometimes it's kind of like a translucent, kind of greenish. But I've seen some of these on the internet and I think it's more turquoise. So I guess we're going to find out in a second. I say that when I open this thing up, it's going to just be black, right? No, I kid. So here is the Record Store Day exclusive. If I can get this little cover off. I'm struggling, obviously. It's the first record, right? You'd think it is, the way I'm struggling getting this thing open. Jeez. All right, that's off. But what a beauty. Look at that art. So Scott Avett, the cover of his banjo head was that at one point. I just love the bird and the heart and obviously the flowers. And this is cool. So let's kind of open this bad boy. More of the same. Cool little art here. Kind of see the bird moving. Definitely like that. It's got an arrow through it. That's kind of cool. And then look at these studs. Back when they were just a 3-piece. So, gosh, I'm struggling with this. First time shooting a YouTube video, right? So this is Scott Avett on the. He's got his, looks like his Gibson guitar there. But he predominantly plays a banjo. He does get behind the keyboard. This is Bob Crawford. Bobby Crawford. You gotta love him on the bass. And then this is Seth. Look at that Mickey Mouse t-shirt. Love it. Love Seth, Scott, and Bob. Joe, he joined them on this album and became an official member of the band shortly after. But what a cool band. And here is the reveal. So of course, more cool little artwork. Look at these studs. Man, is it getting better? Got lyrics here. Of course, this is why I like vinyl, because you had all this cool little additional stuff that digital does not have. But look at this little beauty. Holy smokes. Look at that. Yes, I had to have it. Had to have this one. Glad I got it. So you know what I'll be listening to all week? Right here. So that was A and B. So let's look over here on C and D. Just for smiles and grins, right? Little S's and G's. Oh, God, I love this picture. So check this out. They're like in the mixing room. You got Scott, Seth, Bob. Got a coffee cup there. They're just like at the mixing table. They're saying, yeah, we just wrote a great album. Yeah, pretty sure this is gonna be rock star material. I think it's Seth with the cool little Disney. You gotta love that guy. Look at this. So gorgeous. So freaking gorgeous. I don't know, there's a little black mark right there. That's one thing I like about vinyl. No pressing is gonna be the same. No one has that one but me. Anyway, I need to get back to doing more of these videos talking about music. I do want to touch base real quick on some songs. Come here, Boogie. Yes, sir. A couple songs I'm getting into. Tyler Childers, his new record, and it doesn't drop yet, the full thing. There's some that are available for download out on YouTube and Apple Music and probably other platforms. But he has a song, In Your Love, Tyler Childers, In Your Love. And the video, I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot. The video is really, really cool. And the song is just magnificent. So, In Your Love is good. I like Butcher and Mules. So, it's probably the only song that I know that's about livestock, breeding livestock. And it's really good. So, towards the end, there's a little bit of background vocals. Kind of reminds me of some of the singing of the songs in the film Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Anyway, Butcher and Mules is good. And if anyone knows how a mule is made, it is a mare, female horse, and then a donkey, a jack. And they get together and they make a cute little mule. And mules are stubborn and they're hard workers. And that song by Tyler Childers has been pretty much on rotation heavily. And then Zach Bryan has a new album out. And I've been listening to that. Obviously, I like Zach Bryan a lot. He's a veteran, Navy vet. And so I've been listening to his new stuff too. So those are 2 albums that I need to get on vinyl. And what else? Jeez. You know, just living the good life right here in Iowa. But I need to go work out. 6:21 and burning daylight. I'm glad you checked out my video. I hope you made it all the way through the end. And if you did, and you haven't, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to it, and tell your friends. I would appreciate it. I'm going to make more. Stick with me. Take care. Adios.